Hey everyone, so I have here the Week 10 2024 NFL TV coverage map. It has been released for the Fox single window uh, and the CBS early and late windows. CBS this week has the early and late windows. Each network, they do it where before they would get 8 wins to a 17-week season. They would they would get 8 weeks of having the early and late window and 8 weeks of the single window each network would. And then you would get the week 17. Both networks would have the early and late windows. However, with 18 weeks now, so 9 and 9, because last week they always have one. Or I mean, it could be 1 year where one network has 9, one has 8, then the other year it flip-flops, one has one more, but they do it so now it's even, so that each network has 2 doubleheader windows, and it's later in the season that CBS and Fox Week 15, they have this doubleheader window, and it's a week that they're guaranteed, where it's most likely a good week to have it, So yeah. So we have the CBS early window and the western part of the United States, which is the west, which is most of the western United States. And then you got North, South Dakota, Iowa, Missouri, a little bit of Illinois, a little bit of most of Texas, a little bit of Louisiana, most of Arkansas, and then there's in Illinois. The only reason is because some St. Louis and Cape Girardeau, Missouri areas go into Illinois a little bit, and same with the Quad Cities of Iowa. And there's a little bit of Minnesota and like the Fargo, North Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota areas, and a tiny little bit of Iowa stations that get in Iowa. They have the Kansas City, Denver, Kansas City, the Carolina Green, and Alaska, Hawaii get Denver, Kansas City as well. Pittsburgh at Washington is Texas, and most of the east, most of a little bit of central area, most of the east, like Wisconsin, and like the east coast, and like the eastern time zone, and you have the New Orleans area, stuff like that. And then you got Buffalo, Indianapolis, and Buffalo, Indianapolis is only in a little Chicago area. It's like the Chicago area, or like not the Chicago area itself, but like near the Chicago area, I should say. And then you got Illinois, most of Illinois, not all of it. Good swap of Illinois though. Most of Indiana, the EW area, and Kentucky. We have most of New York, except for the New York City area. And you have the Vermont, a bit of the Northeast up there in Vermont. So, and then we have the CBS late, and then Buccaneers are enforcing the blackout in Tampa Bay. Typically, teams don't enforce blackouts. Typically, they have it where there's been no blackouts where the home team, well, if CBS has the early and late window and the local team is playing on Fox, the CBS will still have 2 games, the early and late window. Will still have it go on in your area. However, if you're playing on the network that has a doubleheader window, and the other network has a single window, the network that your local team in that area isn't playing on, then in the immediate metro area of that team, or that in the immediate team market area where the team plays, not the Sunday area of the team, of what you'd get, what that team's races on Sundays for Sunday games. It's just the immediate metro area, the immediate team market where they're located. Team market that they're located in will get the late window game instead of the early window games, and that so that it doesn't, people can watch their local team and they don't drive up. And also, they do it so because they know that like the TV network having the game isn't going to any hardly any views, unless it's like a since like say Minnesota, there's some Packer fans that Minnesota and Wisconsin that actually are Packer fans, but they got Minnesota station, so they might watch the Green Bay game. But other than that, I mean, in like most instances, there won't be like fans watching games. There's two opposite channels typically. But Buccaneers enforce that buck, which I'm kind of surprised by. I am surprised by, but whatever. It's just in the immediate Tampa Bay area though. And then we have Philly for Dallas, most of the country with Janet Zero. And then Alaska, you get that. And then Spread Eats Amateur that are New Arizona. And it's just the New York City area, New Jersey, and out in the area basically. And that's what it should continue looking at in Vermont. And then we have most of the Arizona that gets basically the Arizona Cardinals. And then a tiny little bit of California that gets an Arizona station. And then not all of Arizona gets it, just a tad of New Mexico station. Arizona gets a New Mexico station or like a Utah station or like a Colorado station, like large swaps of other various stations that are near the Four Corners area. So that just show other games that don't show the Arizona game. So that's it. And then we have the Fox Sing window, which this is interesting. Now the feature national game is in the early window of San Francisco at Tampa Bay, which is no surprise. Ken Burkhardt at Tampa Bay, obviously it's the best game. And obviously they have really no choice but to pick that as the feature game. Obviously that makes sense. Pick it as a feature game. For San Francisco you have 4-5 Tampa Bay after their loss to Kansas City on Monday night. But San Francisco did have their off game though, so they're 4 going into it. In a very competitive NFC West, they are very competitive in the NFC West. San Francisco is. Well, Tampa Bay is still fighting for a spot in the NFC playoffs and possibly win the NFC South. However, there's favorable matchups for Tampa Bay coming up after their bye after this week. So if they can be 5-1 into it, well, they got some favorable matchups and they can be in a good position, win a bunch of them. Especially when they got New Orleans, Carolina in their division. All they need to worry about is Atlanta. So we'll see how that goes. But then we got Joe Davis, Greg Olson, then on Atlanta and New Orleans. It's mostly Arkansas. Most Arkansas, Louisiana. Plenty of Texas and Oklahoma that position for Arkansas and Louisiana, respectively. Most of Mississippi, most of Georgia, and then that's it. And then that's what Jackson we have Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho have that game. Not all those areas have it. Not all Montana, not all Wyoming, and not all of Idaho. Just a tad of Idaho. And then you got all of North Dakota, South Dakota, a little bit of Nebraska, most of Iowa, not all Iowa, most of Wisconsin, all of Minnesota, and then you got the upper peninsula, Michigan, in the Jacksonville area, which goes T-Market, which goes in a tad of Georgia. So in Jacksonville, it's just the immediate Jacksonville area. Then they have to show the game in the immediate Jacksonville area. They don't have to show the game elsewhere, but they do have to show the game in the immediate Jacksonville area. And obviously there's multiple teams in Florida, so That's also why they don't choose to show all Minnesota like they do for the Minnesota games. But also it's because Jacksonville not doing that great, so otherwise more Florida might see it. Even the Miami area might see it if they're, if they're also better. Maybe. Then we have New England at Chicago, and we have the Mass and Milwaukee areas in Wisconsin. You have the Illinois, you have all the Illinois, a little bit of Iowa and Missouri, some of Missouri. For the St. Louis area, and the Cape Girardeau area. So for those, especially for those people who are in Illinois and want to watch the game, they're able to watch the Chicago game, and all Michigan, and some of Indiana. And then we got the Northeast, like Maine, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and then a tiny little bit of New York. Then Tennessee, that's a concluder Johnson, and Tennessee at Lakers in the late window, in the 4:05 Eastern window. That's with King Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and that is in Los Angeles, in the San Diego area. That makes sense. And you got off Colorado. That's because some of these areas that are showing the late window in, in the late window in, makes sense for them to show a late window in. And some are showing that late window game because their team played an early window on CBS, and then if their local Fox station is recording the show game, they're showing that game instead, and that's happening in Denver, Montana, Denver, and then Nebraska, a little bit of Kansas and Missouri, the Kansas area. That makes sense because they're then Colorado and Kansas City, Missouri area, are in the AFC West Tier 2 for LA Chargers. Makes sense. And they have Indianapolis and Tennessee, which makes sense because Tennessee game. A little bit of Arkansas and Mississippi. A touch of Georgia. Makes sense. And then you have Pittsburgh area, the DC, the Washington DC area, and some of Maryland, except for the Baltimore area and eastward in Maryland. Like that would be more like southeast. And then you got the Buffalo, New York area, and the Tucson, Arizona area. The Buffalo kind of makes sense, but makes more sense. So I guess Pittsburgh does for the playoffs. I guess the NFC side. DC area just because they have to show it because they're showing it because Washington is playing, and for the Commanders, so that makes sense. Yeah, Tucson, Arizona area. I don't know why the Tucson, Arizona area is showing Tennessee LA Chargers. I'm not for sure on that one, but maybe someone went to like college or high school there is is playing for Tennessee LA Chargers. Maybe, but that's the TV map for the Week 10 of the 2024 NFL season here. That is the TV map we have. San Francisco at Tampa Bay as the featured game, but Atlanta at New Orleans is the second. There's a good split though between the secondary games. You have Atlanta at New Orleans. You have New England at Chicago. Then you have Minnesota, Jacksonville. You have Tennessee, Lake Chargers. You have areas of these games that are like bigger areas, like fans. So it's like Minnesota, Jacksonville looks a bigger area, but it might be like less people. Not as ton of people, as many people. Who knows? It's just interesting. But I see Minnesota at Lake Chargers. I see. So yeah, that's the team map there. And we have the rare blackout being enforced in the CBS early window by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that is it. The team maps here. Yep, and that is it. Here, that is the CBS early and late, and the Fox single window. And we have Cleveland, Green Bay, Las Vegas, and Seattle all having buys. And then week 11, there's going to be some interesting games in week 11. And there's going to be some predictions here for the team. So obviously the early window game, most likely the early window game is going to be Baltimore-Pittsburgh. I mean, obviously it has to be. There's no other way around it. For Randy Charles Davis, there has to be. And we got Kansas City Buffalo is the late window game, Advance Journal. And then the Fox single window is going to be very interesting. It's most likely going to be Green Bay at Chicago, but it could be Seattle at San Francisco. You know, if they think, especially because the NFC West is so competitive that they could show Seattle at San Francisco. I mean, Atlanta at Denver might be a dark horse scheme as well. I mean, Denver's probably gonna be 5-5, and it could be 6-3, or they could be 7-3 most likely too. So I don't know. I mean, I would assume that, I mean, you got three games that could be dark horse contenders for the CBS for next week for Fox single. You got three good competitors. You got three competitors that could compete for the single window. Although it could be where, like, maybe if in the late window games, Kevin Burkhardt and Tim Brady on the late window feature games here at San Francisco. And that could be where Joe Davis, Greg Olsen are on the feature early window game. Green Bay at Chicago, maybe. That could be the case too. So we'll see. Maybe that's how it shapes up either. But we'll see. But that's all for next